it's Katie, and I'm finally back with another College 101 video. Now that regular decision applications have been submitted, a lot of you are probably hearing back for interviews for your college. You're probably nervous and confused about how to act around them, what to say, and that's why I'm doing this video. The week of my first interview, I was so unnecessarily stressed. My heart just kept dropping throughout the week. When I woke up like 5 days before the interview, I was like, 5 days left. That just made me practice every day, just rehearsing what I was going to say, all the questions they could possibly ask me. I just want to be super prepared. And in retrospect, I think it could have been a lot more casual and I could have been more natural if I had not done all of this in my first interview. But that's okay, because after that, I had 6 more interviews. Stanford, Harvard, Yale, Columbia, Penn, Cornell. And I eventually got the hang of it. So I want to share my best tips and valuable lessons I learned from that with you today. Getting an interview is a great sign, and you should not pass down this opportunity unless you want to indicate to the school that you are not interested in it. This is your chance to form an even stronger connection with the school you're applying to. Don't worry if you didn't get an interview. It may just be lack of availability in your area, and I know plenty of people who have gone accepted into colleges without interviews. So deep breath. But real quick though, let's talk about the interview. The point of this interview is for admissions officers to learn more about you and see what you're like in person. Because you can type a lot of good things about you, or you can get people to write your essays, but when you are in an interview, it's just you. So they just want to check that you are what you say you are on your application, and maybe even more. Here you have an opportunity to fill in any gaps you have or anything you weren't able to mention in your application so that you can paint a clear image of who you are. So before going into the interview, make sure you have an idea of what you want to convey to them or what you want the interviewer to write about you, because what they're going to do is write a summary of how the interview went, and that is going to go into your application as a consideration with the teacher recs, essays, extra papers, all that. Also know that not all interviews go the same. Some were in person, some were online, some were through Skype, some were very formal, and interviewers would have a very set list of questions in a very set period of time, like 1 hour, but others were very conversational. They would take the shape of whatever your answers to their questions were, and it could go on for 2-3 hours. So without further ado, here are the top 5 questions interviewers ask, how I answered them, and how you can answer them too. Number 1, tell me a bit about yourself. Most of my interviews started this way. I really hate this question, personally. Like, it could go anywhere. It's okay to start with the basics here. You can talk about your family, how you grew up, your values, what you enjoy, something you believe is central to who you are, and you want to introduce right off the bat. What I did was start about generic facts about my family, the kind of household I grew up in, the values they instilled in me, and how that oftentimes clashed with the values I was taught at an international school, but ultimately how that sparked my curiosity and inspired me to pursue an education abroad, which is why I was at the interview at that moment. But then I didn't really want to get into any of that because there were other things I was more passionate about. So I would take a lighter tone and just briefly talk about what I did in high school, with leadership positions, sports, designs, YouTube, to open up the conversation to more possibilities, and the interviewer normally from there choose something I mentioned and ask me to elaborate on it. If you want to know what exactly I did in high school, what I put in my extracurricular section, you click the top right eye to watch my revealing my stats plus what I did in high school video, because I share everything I put on my application there. So number 2, what do you do in your free time? So based on the list of things I gave, a lot of them picked out my YouTube channel. So they would ask me how I got started, do I get paid, what does it mean to me, and what inspired me to start a channel, how has that changed, how have I grown. I was just honest about how my YouTube journey helped me not just academically but outside of my life, and you'll hear this common theme a lot because I talk about it in my Draw My Life video, which you might have seen me get all emotional about how you, the alOHANA, my family subscribers, have really changed my life, so thank you. But some would also notice that I really like design, and I was president of the visual arts club, so they would talk to me about my designs, and then I would talk about some initiatives I did outside of school on my phone case collection, pop sockets, and other cool projects I worked on outside of school. But then in school setting, they would ask me about my experience as president of multiple leadership organizations. You know, they'd ask, what does your club do? Why did you join? What challenges do you face? And what are your strengths and weaknesses, or what have you learned? For most of these questions, you can pretty much be honest about what you learned and all of that, but one hack you can do is for the strengths and weaknesses. For the weaknesses, it can be a strength in disguise, like maybe you overwork yourself a lot and you feel like you bite off more than you chew, but indirectly you talk about how it's because you're ambitious and you have big dreams, and going to college is one way you will pursue that. Alternatively, some people like vulnerability, and I know it sounds weird to say that and be like, you should be vulnerable, but if there are things you think that are really important to you and you're okay with sharing it, I think that can make you very real to the interviewer and make them see you as more of a real person who has gone through obstacles and challenges but has overcome that. I think the important thing with this is you don't want to script it and make it seem like you're you're trying a sob story, you want to be natural and authentic if you do choose to share something really deep like that to your interviewer. If you ever look up on Google like college interview questions, just really go through all of this. If you have a lot of time, at least expose yourself to all the different questions that they might ask. Practice to yourself. Look at your hand gestures, your whole body language. Just expose yourself to it, and you should be practicing, or at least have an idea of what you want to talk about. Third question, what are you interested in studying? Have a story or pitch ready for the major you declared. They will probably ask you, why are you interested in that subject? How did you get started? And if you didn't declare a major yet, talk about potential interests or possibilities you're open to right now, and also why you're considering those. What I did was talk about computer science because that was my intended major. I talked about the first time I got interested in 7th grade. I was obsessed with Tumblr, but that discovery led to an interest in coding for me, because then I had to learn HTML or CSS. That introduced me to just a whole new world of possibilities and innovation, which from there inspired me to take computer science classes, get involved in projects, develop an app. It was what catalyzed all those actions I did to pursue computer science after. If you're an international applicant, pro tip is to connect that major to how you would potentially bring it back to your country when you decide to return home. Actually, that doesn't have to just be international applicants. It can be just if you plan on returning to your hometown or community after college. That is something you can talk about and relate to. Number 4, why this school? Not all colleges actually for the supplements ask why you want to apply to a school. Some will have supplements that will tell you like, why will this school be the perfect place to explore your interests, blah, blah, and you have to bust out all your research. But this may also take the form of an interview. When an interviewer asks you why you are applying to that school specifically, you better have done a lot of research. Or at least don't be clueless. You will really impress the interviewer if you talk about specific programs, professors, clubs you can see yourself joining, or something unique to that school that only that school has that compels you to go there. For example, Cornell is known for its hotel school for being a leading program in hospitality. They have really cool PE courses like Intro to Massage, Wilderness Survival Skills, skiing, snowboarding, and if you're interested in social media, design, and just social impact, they have classes catered exactly to that, like designing technology for social impact or developing a personal brand. So at this point, you just want to make it clear that you have done your research, you care about the school, and then somewhere you can really see yourself fitting in. By talking about all of these, you can show to the interviewer, have them clearly envision you in that school, and that will help them write a better recommendation for you. It's just a pro tip if you can really tie back a lot of the things you talk about throughout your interview to the school you're applying to, as a constant reminder that, hey, that's why I'm here in this interview. Number 5, what will you do with your college education? This is really important, and maybe as an international applicant, I was asked this more so than usual, but pursuing education abroad is a big decision, and you likely have big reasons for it. They want to know how you're going to use this education to impact the community you are part of, and ultimately they want to know if you're going to be successful so that they can take credit for your achievements in the future. Example, Evan Spiegel, Snapchat, went to Stanford, Bill Gates, Microsoft, Harvard. It will help their name go far, and you have to know that's also one reason colleges admit students. What I did was, talk about my experience growing up in the Philippines, a third world country, and how that opened my eyes to a lot of problems I noticed that can be solved with technology, and that's one reason I wanted to study computer science. At Cornell, they have one of the best, if not the best, engineering program among Ivy League schools, and they're also in the top 10 nationwide. So really help the interviewer out and talk about specific achievable plans. And in the last part, interviewers will always ask if you have questions for them. You better prepare questions. The more specific to that school or their experience, the better. This is your chance to really show your curiosity, your interest, and interviewers will like it. They love talking about their experiences. That's why they like meeting prospective applicants, and you really want to engage with your interviewer. From an interviewer's perspective, this is their way of pitching their school because they know you probably have other options, so they want to talk about the school to convince you so that if you get accepted, you will go to that school. Keep that in mind. They're also trying to convince you as much as you're trying to convince them. And more than answers, something super important is your body language throughout this whole thing. You want to be making eye contact with them, have good posture, speak clearly, not too fast, don't mumble. That's why it's good to practice with someone so they can give you that feedback before your interview. Show you're actively listening by smiling, nodding, reacting to what they're saying, and capture your passion and enthusiasm with hand gestures, like I do a lot. Also for attire, they should tell you if it's like smart casual, semi-formal, whatever. Don't forget to ask these things, and in the end, thank them for their time. Send them a follow-up email or text them, especially if you mention anything during the interview that you said. You would show them example. Like for me, if they asked me to link them my YouTube channel, then I would do that. Just a way so that after the interview, they they remember you again. That just consolidates in their head this interviewer and helps you stand out from the others. Best of luck with your interview. Just let your inner you shine. You got this. Remember, you're probably never going to see them again, so give it your best shot and you have nothing to lose. That's it for this video. I hope it helped you. Give it a thumbs up if it did. Comment any other videos you want to see. Click the top right eye to watch more of my videos. Follow me on social media at AlohaKatieX. When I have Q&As, I ask you guys there to ask me questions, so don't miss out. You may be featured. If you haven't already, subscribe to join our alOHANA, our family of subscribers. I upload new videos every week. My main channel is here and my vlog channel is here, so go check both of those out. I will see you next week with another video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm rooting for you and I am a DM on Instagram or Twitter away. Bye!